Hi. So, welcome. I don't know who's going to be here or what's going to happen, but let's go. This is going to be a bit of a walk down memory lane for me. I've been here a very long time, hence until I went through and looked at all of the things I'd done. I didn't realize how many things I'd actually cosplayed, because being down here at the bottom of the earth, New Zealand, the birthplace of flesh and blood, I haven't made it to many official flesh and blood events where a cosplay competition is run and prizes are given out. So I've been doing this since 2020, and I have done a lot of things to in the ways of making cosplays, and I have been very fortunate to be able to meet a lot of people from LSS over the years, and been able to be felt like I was one of the people that mattered, and I'm very thankful for that. And a lot of things have happened, and I so wishful that I could be one of those people who could afford to go around the world, but unfortunately my position in life doesn't give me that virtue. But with the power of being online, it's been the absolute most wonderful thing, because I am able to be present with everything online and see the world is not that big, that I can make connections, and the world of flesh and blood's done that for me. So we're going to have a little run through of some of the cosplays I've done, from my very first one. But first, I'm just going to tell a story how I ended up playing flesh and blood. So for many years, I played a little TCG called Magic the Gathering since about 2010, and I had some good friends that had taught me this game. Joe Douglas, he knows who he is. He was telling me about this little game that he'd gone down to, this really great event with his friend Ethan Kennedy, and they'd seen this brand new game. And I was like, and they were saying to me how it worked and a little bit, and I was like, well, I could be interested in that. I could go for that kind of game. So I rolled on to find out, like, I work. So I found out they had an event at one of our local places, and I rolled in after they'd had their pre-release, and they were all absolutely humming over these new heroes, Katsu, Bravo, Dorinthia, and our lovely brute Reiner. So I went and kind of did a learn to play at the pre-release. So I wasn't officially in the system until early 2020, but my first experience was late 2019, and it made me so interested. These lovely characters that that they brought to life, not only in the card art, but in the way that those things are played. It's been a absolute wonder and awesome thing to see these wonderful people, and seeing the spark of a new game in them. And then it wasn't long. So Ethan Kennedy has this vision of being able to play cards. He'd played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time himself, and we went and played in his garage for a very long time. We've progressed now. We have a game store, which is absolutely lovely. Again, Ethan worked very hard to make it possible for us to play in the game store. And he's been a devoted person from early on, and his devotion also led off into our community because we felt his excitement for the game, and it made us excited. And I thank him greatly for that because he helped me to stay on and the excitement that he brought was just absolutely freaking wonderful. And I have no end of respect for Ethan again. Then uh, we had a few things and played a few games, and and then the second set came out, and this is when my fire kind of ignited to get cosplaying in Flesh and Blood. They kind of had some spoiler art. Um, they had this character. She kind of looked like she was an assassin, and I was like, I'm down for an assassin. I'm going to make that bow. I didn't even know what her name was before I started thinking about this character, and so that's where we started with Azalea. Now, Azalea was a fun build. Oh, this is supposed to be paused. Was a fun build, and I really enjoyed making her. Um, this was kind of I'd only made one cosplay of my own. I'd commissioned an early one, so I'd only done magic cosplays. So, Alcibus Sun's champion, I got someone else to build for me, but I was in on the processes of making forms and stuff because it is easier to make a form yourself for somebody else to make, a lot less intrusive to than getting strangers to do it for you. And then I made Liliana of the Veil, Liliana of Lost Hope, which I really enjoyed. But this was like the first cosplay where I made every single thing for this. Uh, well, to a point. I modified things as well, but I thought it would be a great idea to make my armor out of duct tape. It didn't hold very well, but it was a good idea in the sense that I could fix it easily. Also, Death Dealer was made from duct tape and um, electrical tape. Uh, so it was a very interesting concept that I've made here. And yeah, it was a great fun experience making this costume. And it's also where I had my first experiences with people from LSS. Oh, it's out of order. Where is my picture? Where's Sam? Oh, no. Ah, there's my picture with Sam. So, this is my first experience meeting Sam Yang. Now, Sam Yang was not working for LSS at this point. And if you look really carefully in the back of this photo, you can see there is a dash picture up on the wall as well. He was so excited to see me and he signed my Remorseless. My only regret was I did not have a foil one, but I remedied that at a later point because I saw Sam at another event, which was really awesome, which I'll talk about later. And I also got to meet MJ. Now, MJ is an amazing artist. She's been with LSS since I think day dot, and she has done a lot of work in the LSS book, the first law book. She did lots of work on the card borders, on the card back. She works really close with the art direction team. And I'm not sure her position has changed a little bit, but she's still very much active in the art direction side. And I felt so flattered because not only did MJ and also another LSS staffer who no longer works with him, Nikki, look for me at the event. I just felt so flattered. I was in awe. I felt humbled. I was just so nervous that oh, I just was flabbergasted because little old me doing this cosplay in 2020, and these people wanted to see me, and I was like, these guys are way more important than I am. But because they made this game that I got to enjoy and I got to make a cosplay for, and I just was over the moon. And I got a lot of official photos, so they're all dated and stuff. And I also took this cosplay to an event that ended up being part of a news special. So LSS made the New Zealand news, or a special news thing called 7 Sharp, and they did like an editorial, and I got my 2 seconds of fame in the intro for that, which felt really cool. And I also got to meet Ian Kenderdine and Alan, who were both working for LSS at the time, and they were doing some streaming at this event at Hobby Master, not Hobby Master, my gosh, Mighty Ape. At Mighty Ape, I had a Go Bananas somewhere, I sold it. But at Mighty Ape, and I met them. I also met at that time Session Blood, which is Kieran and Carol, and they were wonderful to meet. They were the first people to give me a shout out. It was absolutely amazing to hear my name, even though it was slightly incorrect on the Session Blood given a shout out. And it was really cool to meet those particular people because I felt so included. At this point, I was the only person turning up in cosplay to these events, but I had a very supportive home crew, and wherever I went, they were so supportive. They also made me super nervous and stuck me on the stream. That was the most nerve-wracking game I've ever played, and I lost miserably to a brute. So, yeah, life. But it was a wonderful time, and I really enjoyed that event. I don't have the photos from that event because apparently I didn't put them in here, maybe. So this was my first calling I ever went to. So I believe there was a calling before this one that I was unable to attend. And I got the great pleasure of meeting James White for the first time. Here I'm dressed as young Azalea, and this is my first iteration of the spring tunic. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, made with a fabric that actually dyed my poor friend green. But Georgia was along for the ride. She walked for 4 rounds and then got sick of being in a cosplay, but that's okay because cosplay is not easy. And she decided that she would rather be a competitive player than be cosplaying, but she did succumb to the pressures and did do a cosplay later on, and she does feature again. Sorry, Georgia, I have popped you in here again. But here we go. So this was a great event for me. Also caught up with both Ian and Alan again. I made this beautiful, I know you can't see it, but I made a crack bauble necklace that Alan is wearing for this photo, and that was donated to charity for the Cancer Society, with yeah, that jacket, that shirt was most definitely itchy. Um, Hi, Georgia. That was a very itchy top, yes, and very green. I'm glad you could pop in. You're going to feature a little bit here. Sorry, not sorry. Um, so yes, this was really cool. Me and Georgia did a lot of traveling together and for a lot of events. So she kind of had to put up with my cosplay a lot. And she still ends up having to put up with my cosplay a lot. Yeah. But she did get a signed Kano out of it from James White, so maybe it was worth it, that event. And I got James to sign my azalea. It's a very beat up azalea, so it graded absolutely terribly. That's not it. So it graded absolutely terribly, but yeah, that's my James White signatured. Here we go. There, that light terrible. That's my James White signatured card, but it is such a beat up card that it only got like a 6. I'm pretty sure George's hero was way better condition than mine was, so I'm sure hers would grade way better. So here we go. This is Cavdine. This was an event, an ultimate pitfire event put on by Radio Reflex, which was what Ian and Alan had as their podcast. I think if you look really closely, you can see Ian in the reflection because he's taken this photo. This was a really quick cosplay that I put together. It was a suit top, and I double-sided taped ribbon onto this costume, and yeah, it by the end of the day, because it was a long pit fight day, it was very fun though playing Cavdine. I believe my friend Giorgio played a wizard, killed a table, and then became a target at the next table. But Cavdine was fun. I got people to gain life and lose life and have fun. And pit fight is a format I quite like, as a fun format, and I will always enjoy it. And I always remember this great Christmas event that Radio Reflex put on, which is Ian and Alan. I also managed to catch up with Sam Yang, get a signed poster of Dash, and also get him to sign one of my rainbow foil copies of Remorseless. So it was so worth it. And Sam Yang was trying to learn to play Benji. He had an interesting time, but he enjoyed himself, so that was cool. Now this was just a fun one I put together, seeing the artwork for the first Monarch set. So this first Monarch set had this really amazing staff, and I showed it to my partner, and he actually made it for me. So I have that staff, and it looks absolutely amazing. He cut it out on his tools. My partner is an amazing carver of traditional Maori art, and he did this for me as a gift, and I much appreciate it. This whole costume was bought. The gloves were bought, the cloak was bought, but it was just a fun one to celebrate Monarch. And you can have any reason to cosplay. You don't have to do, you don't have to be for a competition, right? So this one was for our second calling that we attended, me and Georgia, and and our crew. I think we actually had 6 people down from our area. A few of them decided the game wasn't for them after this, but that's fine. It was nice to have a good contingent. It was indeed a sealed Monarch calling. It was very interesting, to say the least. So this is a picture I got done later, so it's a more professional picture. But at this event, we all had a sealed Monarch pool. I think I ended up playing something, I don't know. I think I played Runeblade or a Levia. I kind of like the side of the dark. I wasn't a light hero person. But at that same event, I met I met up again with Matt Rogers. I did not mention, but I met Matt Rogers way back in 2020 when he had his card merchant stall at Armageddon. I'd contacted him beforehand and said to him, "Oh, look, I'm going to be cosplaying. Do you have a space for me to play Flesh and Blood?" And he was like, "Well, not at this point. We've got tournaments for Magic and da-da-da," because Flesh and Blood was so new, to the point where I was being called Katniss. So again, I got to catch up with Matt Rogers, and he won this particular calling, and a really talented player, Kiki, ended up with second. I also met up with some really amazing people. Kieran, who is a Wellington player, I did an interview with him. Unbeknownst to me, he made the top 8, so it was a really cool interview we did, and we had so much fun with it. I got to meet up again with Nikki and MJ. Nikki signed my tunic, but Nikki has since changed their name, so this is just verified as a real tunic. But I remember you, Nikki. You're important to me, and you really made my Flesh and Blood journey a great one. And I hope that wherever you are out there, you see my appreciation and thanks. And I really enjoyed this event, catching up, meeting new friends, making friends. Every calling, that's what we do. We make friends. And it's just amazing. And that's the one thing I've been getting through Flesh and Blood and cosplay is making friends. Somewhere along this line. So this is me and Ian. So I made Lexi Livewire, and then COVID hit. So we were supposed to have our nationals on Labor weekend, but we were in lockdown. So they postponed it, and I ended up going to Wellington. So this particular nationals, I didn't even qualify. I went down, I cheerleaded my friends, both Georgia and Sean, 2 of my great friends, Sean Stanley and Georgia. Some are really actually very competitive players. They both qualified. I didn't, and neither did my friend Luke. But we came down so we could enjoy and do the Battle Hardened the next day. So we did get to play some Flesh and Blood. But it was really cool because if I had gone to this event at the scheduled time, Ian wouldn't have had his ragamuffin hat. And I made him this hat, and I was watching DM Amada, and he was talking about how this is Ian's hat. The ragamuffin hat is Ian's hat. Now, this is your fault, DM Amada, that I made this hat for Ian. But I absolutely loved every moment of making this hat for him. And unfortunately, it didn't travel well to him in the first place. I mean, it made it more ragamuffin-y. But it didn't travel too well when he took it to the States and so forth. So he it's been retired. He still has it, but it's been retired. But I really enjoyed making this for him, and it meant that in the future I actually made other costume for another friend, which she's added to, and we'll get there soon. Just a bit of a tidbit. But this was a really cool event. I really enjoyed walking through the streets of Wellington to the football field, or the rugby field, to this amazing venue where you just looked down and everyone was playing, and it was a very nice vibe, and I really enjoyed it. I need a drink. Normally talking isn't an issue for me. So I enjoyed this cosplay so much, and I wanted to share it with the outside world. So in our local area, we have a thing called the Bonina Fashion Awards. Unfortunately, it hasn't happened the last couple of years, but hopefully, cross fingers, it does again, and I can do some more cosplay and share the word of fab. But this was the cosplay section. So you can see me on the right. So I really enjoyed this, and it was the most fun. Talking, hanging out with friends. Um, one of my good friends was had, who works at the design school. He managed to convince a few of his students to participate, and he participated, and it was just so much fun. It was like being backstage with all of our friends. So they also did their own professional photos, so just for the judging, and of course I went and got them. The great thing about this bow is it actually lit up. And as you can see here, it lit up and it looked absolutely stunning with the fairy lights through it, and especially when they put like the stage lighting on, it just looked amazing. I'm not proud of the back. I'm not proud of the back of my back, but you can see all I painted each piece individually. I was very fortunate. I contacted Federico Morissetti, and he was able to give me the some pictures of the front, the back, kind of artist sketches. And the reason why the bow looks so good is because he also gave me like a scale sketch of the bow Voltaire, and I'm just so pleased. And he didn't tell me what anything the Voltaire was, which was very good of him because it wasn't released yet when he gave me the art, so he is able to obscure that from me. But because I contacted him as soon as we got the big thing about this one was because it was spoiled so early. I was able to get it finished a lot sooner, and I wore it to a lot of places because why wear one thing once? Hi, Gray. Nice to see you. And so I've also done young Lexi. This was kind of a more fun one. I kind of wanted to use Voltaire more because I just really love this bow. Props are so much fun to build. So I got a mother dragon's dress and just adjusted it, put new hems on it, put iron-on designs in the front area, and also built a quiver because why not? Um, that was really cool fun. I really enjoyed this one, and then I was able to meet Federico Morissetti. So he was visiting Wellington for the nationals. Just happened to be a nationals I decided not to go to, and then I found out he was going to an event in Auckland. This poor guy was exhausted. Um, I managed to convince my partner to drive me down as my birthday present to go and meet this artist, and I'm so appreciative of my amazing partner because he puts up with a lot of my stuff. So, because unfortunately I do not drive. Hence why Georgia and I travel to a lot of things together because she is my great driver. Yes, Federico is absolutely amazing. He's great to talk to. And yeah, so he was fully exhausted. He found out it was my birthday and gifted me a beautiful print. But of course, I had to get things signed as well. But my only beef is that artists always sign over the writing, so I have to have a spare call down lightning to show people so they know what the heck it does. But otherwise, it's got a beautiful signature and it looked lovely. Um, and also, one of my good friends, because I hadn't been overseas, Ian Kenterdine went and got my Lexi Livewire signed for me and my young Lexi signed for me at one of the events in America. So I, I've been very fortunate with my friendships because they've afforded me some beautiful cards and some beautiful signatures. So this is my Federico signed Lexi. Get that. So that is the young Lexi and the old Lexi. I got this one for top 18 at my local PQ. Yeah, I could, Georgia, but I like to show off the ones that are signed. So here is something we did for fun. Oops, stop. Go back. So this one I did for fun, and it actually, when I did it, we decided as a cosplay community to make a postcard one. Unfortunately not. I cannot make worlds. Sorry, I'm unable to get to worlds. But I'm hoping to have a very special thing available just before Worlds that we've been working as a cosplay community with. So watch the space. We will be releasing something as a cosplay community to celebrate Worlds and the 5-year anniversary. So this one was a fun one, done with my friend, one of my local friends, Jade, and she dressed up as Lena Bell, and this was when we got the shitty Christmas present card. And we decided to just do a little video, which is possibly still on my TikTok. And this picture we just was looked so much fun that as a community between Rachel Studdard or Max Veracity decided that it would be a great idea to swing from something, and she did a edit and put us all into the shitty Christmas present card, along with some kind person who put themselves as the why is it not coming to my brain? But as the other character in the in the picture. So Rachel did a great job at the Photoshop, and it looked really cool. But this was our original photo with our make do green screen in my lounge with fairy lights. It was so much fun. But I thought I'd share this little bit of an outtake with people because cosplay is fun. You got to enjoy cosplay. So this was a charity event that I attended. I decided to attend this charity event in Auckland. It was a Cancer Society one. It was a series of board games happening there, and I dressed as Taylor, and I took a tunic that anyone could wear. It velcroed at the back, so it didn't matter if you're big or small, you could wear this. And my idea was that people could get photos in these things and donate to the Cancer Society. Well, I got more money from the the bags that I made for people to keep their mats in, so they kind of were along this design, but mat bag size. And somebody very kindly donated about $50 for one of those sets to donate to the Cancer Society. But the most notable thing was catching up with James White, having a really good conversation with him, almost stabbing someone with an arrow, and him saying, "Don't worry, you can stab someone with an arrow very soon." And we got the arms that if you flip an arrow, you can stab someone for one. So he kept his promise. But that was a very fun event, and I really enjoyed it. It was a nice continuation from the other Cancer Society things that I'd helped out with. Again, corresponding with Matthew Rogers and at this event, and helping out with setting up and so forth. And I think the crew came up from Wellington or Nelson. The crew came up from Nelson. So Marnie, I believe, was part of that crew, and helped with the recordings for the stream for that day as well. And it was just a lot of fun. This is one of my prized possessions that was drawn for me by MJ at the Auckland Calling. I met a lot of people at this Auckland Calling, including Tall Timmy. So there's MJ drawing. I love MJ. She's so cool. Biased, I know. So this is a tunic I spoke about in the previous thing. So basically Velcro on the back, you can put it on and anyone can wear it. So this is not Carol. Yes, Carol. I am very ashamed that I get Carol and this and this person mixed up. So I don't think it's Carol. Anyway, this should have my head screwed on. It's getting into evening. Oh yes. So this was day one. So this is the Friday. I decided this was what I was going to wear. This was actually my tailor dress was actually made from a added piece that I added to my wedding dress. So this was my wedding dress underneath. Later on, I did adjust it and make it different, but this is my wedding dress version. So you got to wear your dresses more than once if you can. So that's what I did. Here we go. So then we went on, and this was the costume that I actually wore for Auckland. So by this point, my azalea had progressed. So this is more EVA foam armor, and we didn't have a new quiver yet, so that hasn't been upgraded just yet. My bow had been reinforced by a thing called thermoplastic, which is a great tool because you can use it to basically encase and strengthen items, which it did in a beautiful way for this. And it made it a far more durable piece. And it was great to be able to transport these things. Also, funny story, we're getting on the bus to go to Auckland, and I get told this is a dangerous weapon and needs to be stowed underneath the bus. So, yeah, funny. But that's the way it goes. We're come into the official LSS picture. So this one I chose to use it as the tri-shot azalea. So I purchased a gas mask because at this point there wasn't as many stipulations about the amount of anything that you could have percentage wise. So a lot of mine was recycled and remade stuff and a couple of bought pieces. Upside, I have dark hair, so I was able to not have to wear a wig because with Lexi, I learned that wigs are hard work. And I'll still wear a wig again, but they're hard work and to maintain. Now, here is what I did when I got COVID. So this staff here in Georgia's other arm. I hope you're still there, Georgia. I haven't made you too bored telling your life story. So this is a good angle. I double checked to make sure I got the right angle for you, Georgia. So this staff and shoulder piece was made while I had COVID. Um, I was very fortunate. My COVID was not that bad. My daughter got it first. I thought I was going to be in the clear the day that I was supposed to go back to work. I okay, but it's you again. um, so yeah, so this is where she made her own piece. So Georgia made her own coronet piece to go with this costume, and I'm very proud of her. It looked absolutely amazing. She did a really good job doing the cosplay competition. Even though they told us basically what we're doing like 2 minutes before we went on stage, I'm so proud of my friend for dipping her toe into the field of cosplay and doing such an amazing job with her beautiful coronet peak. And I'm so pleased that she was able to wear the dress and things with her coronet peak to make it a complete outfit. And I loved her work that she did as well because it just made it complete. And now I'll take the photo off because she doesn't want it on there any longer. All right, so we're coming along to me going to Melbourne. So I decided that I needed to do something a little bit different. I mean, I know I'd done other characters, but I do a lot of ranges. So this time I found an amazing picture in the wizard card that a lot of people really loved, and I thought was just an amazing concept of the way it was done. So I did this for Melbourne, and this is me and my friend Kieran, or close a friend. He is a wizard lover, and he really had enjoyed having fun with the picture. But here is the official picture. Um, I think it looked really cool. I really enjoyed making the light piece. So that whole thing lit up and moved around. Like, this was the first trip I did without Georgia. It was very weird. But I traveled with Ian Kenderdine, and we stayed out of trouble. And also recorded one of the shapeshifters rave with the wonderful Carolina while we were there. This was the first time I got to meet her, and she took her out the cosplay competition with a beautiful costume. And it was a really cool weekend. I really enjoyed playing a lot of flesh and blood and wearing this red dress, and people thinking that I was going to be doing another character, but it was really nice to show them what I'd come up with. Uh, I could actually see through this mask, so it was just basically a biker's mask, a black biker's mask, that you'd wear underneath just to keep the dust and stuff off yourself. And yeah, it it came out really cool, and I really enjoyed making that handpiece. I think it's still up on my shelf, and yeah, Melbourne was great. I don't think I had any bad experiences in Melbourne. I got my very first artist proof. Don't know where I've put that. Sure, I've got it here somewhere. Got my very first artist proof done, uh, and it was amazing. It's might be in my, don't have it on me. But yeah, I got my very first artist proof done, and it was absolutely amazing. And right, yeah. Yeah, it was very amazing, and it was a great experience meeting all the different artists as well. We met a really lovely cosplayer from Australia who did a very cool Bravo gender bend. They looked a freaking amazing. And also, Ian decided to do his very first actual cosplay. At this point, not working for LSS, just full disclaimer. And he did Sipper Hit because he actually has a coffee cart and it looked absolutely amazing. He had these cups with little wings on them and he just went down there with a zipper hit and it was just really cool. And I really enjoyed doing that and having that trip with Ian. He's quite a good person to travel with. Um, and then this was for an event in in our local area. Um, I dressed up in the tunic, just adjusted it. I had entered it in the cosplay competition, missed my judging, but that's okay. We had a fun time. So that was the Sandbox Festival, the first time round. So good that there is a second time round. There we go. We have Queenstown now. Queenstown was amazing. I got to meet the most amazing person in Queenstown, James White's mum. She is the absolutely most down to earth, wonderful woman. She heard that I was going to do the tailor and she asked, because I was looking for someone to be wearing the tunic, and she asked me if she could be a part of my cosplay. I may not have placed at all. I was outside the top four with Tyrion, because there was only 6 of us. But I may not have placed, but I feel like I won that weekend. I really did. I got the experience of hanging out with an amazing woman, getting amazing advice, and feeling absolutely humbled. Told the story behind the tailor. If people don't know this, Taylor is actually a card for James White's mum. She's a seamstress by trade. There's a beautiful costume behind me that she made. And there's little nest eggs in that picture, as we all thought, including a wedding picture of James and his wife, their first dog, and a number of different things that were just so important. And I really enjoyed getting the story of that particular um, card, and also having the great conversations with Mrs. White. She is absolutely wonderful person, and I feel very privileged that I had the opportunity to do a cosplay with her, and she still messages me and sends me stuff, and I am just so blown away. She is just an amazing woman. Um, Once upon a time, I did ask her for an interview, and she said she'd leave it to James and his team. So, just an amazing woman. Um, Also got to meet Demamata and get a great photo with him. Unfortunately, everybody that was on the celebrational crew for Queenstown was incredibly busy. So then to spend major time with any of these people was very hard. But I'm very pleased I got a very good action photo with Demamata, and also met Brody Spurlock, had good conversations about Azalea and how she works and how he found her. And it's good to see someone else with some passion for a ranger, even though it seems like he waited till she was good, but we won't hold it against him. So yes, down here I actually had an updated bow. My bow is now made out of perspex, cut into layers, cut and layered back up, and so it can actually be undone for traveling. So I'm able to pull it apart and put it into 2 pieces in my case. Because if people don't know, traveling with cosplay props can be very difficult. So it's a whole that really helps to be able to collapse your costumes. And oh, what other photos I put in here? Ah, and this is my costume that I had for our latest sandbox, which here I am with my friend who printed off the Mandalorian, and my other friend with his costume that I never remember the reference to, but he always looks freaking amazing. Seth, he's an old school friend that I've reconnected with since discovering cosplay and not knowing that that was something that either of us were ever going down the path of. So it was very nice to reconnect with an old school friend that way. Um, the reason why this one's such a cool costume is because this is when I remade the cloak to match Judge Jerry and Executioner with the 3 bits to the side, and I also had a go at copying the new quiver for Azalea. So this is the new Azalea quiver, and hopefully it's only a deaf dealer. Where's my quiver? Not there. It's in the box for my games. But so I reimagined that quiver, and I really enjoyed building that quiver. Actually, I actually have it right here. One moment. That's the last photo anyways. So I really enjoyed making this quiver. I don't know if I got the proportions quite right. Random piece that is joined it. But I really enjoyed making this because it's so nice to have a proper quiver for Azalea. Real feathers, layered. Unfortunately, I lost one of my arrows at the event. So someone's got a really nice, pretty arrow. But it's all kind of foamed in there, so it won't come out. But yeah, I really enjoyed making this particular piece. And most recently, I did the blood drop goblet. I don't have any photos of them on me for some reason. I haven't uploaded those pictures just yet, but I wore that for the latest Flesh and Blood Nationals in Auckland. It was nice because we were able to just drive down and enjoy that kind of thing. So that's pretty much my journey so far. I've made little bits and bobs along the way. I made a bracelet for the set part the Miss Veil. I made the bracelet with the little bits on it, which is right behind me. I'm looking at it. Which I really enjoyed making. I may remake it actually, but and there's a blue piece that goes underneath. So I really enjoyed making that. I've kind of turned to making small projects at this point. I am going to make a big project. Me and Georgia are looking at participating in Pro Tour Oceania or Oceania or APAC. So hopefully when we find out where that is, we will be going there. I have started saving, but there are some places that might be still out of my budget, but hopefully we'll find a way because we've got a whole year to get there. So that's pretty much my goal. Unfortunately, I cannot go to Worlds, but I'll be eagerly watching with all the new changes. So LSS recently put up that there's going to be 4 tailors available, which is absolutely amazing. So there'll be a novice. What was the other one? There was I'm going to get my phone. There was a novice award. There was there was a novice award. There was, just 1 second. I'll read it from my phone. Here it is. So there's going to be one tailor for craftsmanship, one for accuracy, and one for performance. So that means that you, as a cosplayer, if you don't feel comfortable with the performance, you don't need to enter that section of it, which I think is very good, because not all of us are born performers, but we really want to bring cosplay to life. So that's really nice. Accuracy, craftsmanship's always been important, because you really don't want your stuff to fall apart. And it also means that things like the mechanoid suit can be appreciated alongside someone who does an absolute brilliant performance, as say the brute performance at Queenstown. And they'll both be appreciated and for their actual attributes that make them amazing. And then there's going to be a very special tailor that will be given to a cosplayer, a novice cosplayer that's never made top 4 before. So I think that for those coming to large events like Worlds and PTs, I think this is probably a good way to move forward, because there is going to be more cosplay in numbers at these events. Small events aren't going to be able to warrant this kind of prizing. This is why I think we've had a bit of a lag of cosplay competitions, because they've been preparing for this kind of thing. There has been a lot of engagement by cosplayers at different events. And even though there wasn't one at Tampa Bay, we had some amazing cosplayers, and I absolutely love watching them. And that's another thing that I've actually enjoyed doing, is I've made a cosplay page on Facebook for Flesh and Blood, where we can share Flesh and Blood cosplay, with the help. I have also made the Shapeshifters a wraith, and with the help of Essa, it has improved marketably with his presence. But I've been enjoying highlighting all cosplayers for a lot of time. I've done over a year of the Shapeshifters, and also Cosplayer of the Month, which I think I've been doing like 2, maybe 3 years. I'm not sure, but I've been doing Cosplayer of the Month. My very first Cosplayer of the Month that was recorded was actually Rachel Studdard, or Max Ferocity. And we recently revisited her. So if you're interested, just look up Cosplayer of the Month and you can see both of her videos and you can note the differences. She has come leaps and bounds, and it's just amazing to see all these people grow within the community. I enjoyed being able to be in a position to help celebrate all cosplayers. And now we also have a Twitter that people can go along and have a look at and follow. And we're going to try and do our best to give everybody the experience of seeing these beautiful cosplayers that you may not get to see in the flesh and blood, but you can still enjoy from afar. And hopefully you'll get the chance to see some of these beautiful cosplayers in the flesh and blood. So thank you everybody for listening to my ramblings and my journey so far in flesh and blood. And I hope that you guys all enjoy all the celebrational stuff that's coming up. I am so pleased that I've been here since very late 2019. So I'm so pleased that I've been here for a long time. I couldn't believe that it's been that long. So it's amazing. And thank you again, LSS, for making such a wonderful game. Flesh and Blood is just the most amazing game. And there'll always be lows and highs. It's how you deal with the lows and how you celebrate the highs. Thank you, everybody.